Hello, I'm Jason Everett, and I'm here today to talk to you about the venomous snakes of Pennsylvania, to include the northern copperhead, the eastern timber rattlesnake, and the eastern Massasauga rattlesnake. These snakes are all pit vipers and are venomous. I've been an avid outdoorsman in Pennsylvania for over 25 years, and I've come across the northern copperhead and the eastern timber rattlesnake. Today I'll be discussing four main areas to include identification of the snakes, the range in which they live, their specific habitat, and their current status of species. Before I get started, I'd like to go over a few universal traits to identify all three snakes. All three snakes have a vertical pupil, or a cat-like pupil, unlike a human, which has a round pupil. So that's a sure way to identify a poisonous snake. The next are the pits between the nostrils and the eyes. All pit vipers have these pits, and they're sharp, deep pits between the nostrils and eyes. That's another way to identify all three snakes. The first snake I'm going to start with today is the northern copperhead. I have a picture of the northern copperhead here, and it's a medium-sized snake with length from 26 to 42 inches. Its head is large and flat, and it's set off by a skinny neck. Its body color is between light tan and brown. They're located in the southern two-thirds of the Commonwealth, and are absent from the northern tier counties. According to H.K. Reinhardt, who wrote Habitat Separation Between Sympatric Snake Population and Habitat Variation Within Snake Populations, he says that they generally prefer open habitat with abundant rocks and little understory vegetation. The status of the northern copperhead is it's abundant throughout the two-thirds of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. The next snake I'm going to be discussing is the eastern timber rattlesnake. It ranges from 35 inches to 60 inches in length, has a large, heavy body with V-shaped bands along the body. It actually has two color morphs depending upon the season. The first color morph is the black phase, which, like in the picture, you can see it's a very dark snake. And the second color morph is the yellow phase, where it has a yellow to tan body. These snakes, why they're called rattlesnakes, is they have a rattle on the tail. Also, according to M.M. Hensley, who wrote Albinism in North American Amphibians and Reptiles, there have been albino eastern timber rattlesnakes sighted in Pennsylvania and other states. Their range, they extend through the Valley and Ridge Province, the Laurel Highlands, and the more mountainous regions of the Allegheny Plateau. For habitat, they love rock outcroppings and talus slopes. They generally stay away from populated areas, but may pop up every now and then when humans encroach upon their territory. Their status, according to the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission, they're listed as a candidate species on their list, which means they could become endangered at some point. To preserve the snake, the Fish and Boat Commission has regulated hunting and bag limits on the snake. They've closed certain areas to harvesting the snake, and they have been stopping development in certain areas to preserve the snake also. The third snake I'm going to be covering is an eastern Massasauga rattlesnake. The identification, here's a picture of it. Their length is 24 to 30 inches. Their head is wide and they have a thick neck. Their color is a gray to a dark brown. They have three different sets of spots on the snake that actually it's unique to that snake, three blotch bands. So that's the way you can tell the eastern Massasauga rattlesnake. Their range, their current range, they actually only live in 3 counties. According to Holtz, McCoy, and Sensky, 2001, who wrote amphibians and reptiles of Pennsylvania and the Northeast, they only live in Butler, Mercer, and Venango counties. Their habitat during spring and fall is poorly drained, swampy areas. In summer, it's dry, open fields. They actually are on a PA endangered species list according to the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission. In conclusion, I have talked about the 3 venomous snakes of Pennsylvania. I have given you different ways to identify these snakes, even universal ways, so you can't mess it up. And I've also talked about the habitat in which they live and the current status of species. So I hope this was an informative video and you learned a lot. Next time you're in a woodsy area or a barren area, you'll know which part of the state you're in as far as which snake you may run across. Thanks and have a good day.